What up, YouTube? Welcome to Reading Reddit, where we share some of Reddit's craziest stories. But before you do that, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Alright, let's get into today's video. AskReddit, what is the best job for a lazy person? Security guard. Source, been on Reddit the whole shift. Edit, now on my next night shift and so many notifications and even 2 golds. Just to answer a few questions, it is a shipyard facility. During the day, it's checking out bags and cars coming in and out, giving temporary passes and a few phone calls. Night shift. What can I say, Reddit? Cable TV or Heroes 3 on my shitty old laptop. Work schedule. Day shift, night shift, then 2 days off. I wonder how many people have snuck past you while you were on Reddit. Honestly, even if I wasn't on Reddit, it'd be stupid easy to sneak past me. According to my contract, I'm not allowed to stop people unless the badge reader doesn't recognize their card, in which case it beeps to let me know I need to walk over there and see what's going on. 90% of this job is buzzing in guests, 7% is my writing activity report, 12 app posts all okay, 1 app post all okay, repeat ad nauseum, and the remaining 3% is deadbolt in the door at the end of the night. Edit, because apparently this is an issue for some of you. I will admit that 3% is probably an exaggeration of how long it takes to lock a door. However, I would like to backtrack and say that I feel that the percentages are actually based on the amount of effort each task requires out of my total effort expended per shift, rather than the time taken to do it. In short, I am right, and y'all are a bunch of nerds who haven't even been rejected from the police academy like the real hero here, me. When I did security, I had to do an activity report for every half hour and it couldn't be the same. I got very good at saying I walked in a circle in a dirt lot and nothing happened, over and over in different ways. Back in college, I was a computer lab monitor. I just had to sit in the lab and once every hour count the number of people there. If I was opening or closing the lab, there was about 15 minutes of work for that, and otherwise I could just surf the web or do my homework. I had this job in college. I did 2 things. Toward the end of the term, periodically yell, "If you are on Bebo, Facebook, or any other non-academic site, please make room for the students that need a computer." The printer also had a green button that needed to be pressed once a paper tray was depleted so it will draw away from the other tray. There was a sign above the printer that said this, a sign on the printer that said this, and a sign by the queue to the printer. Still, I constantly have to deal with this issue. The printer's not working. Did you press the green button? Yes. So if I go over there and press the green button, nothing will happen? Yes. Inevitably, I'd press the green button and it would start printing away. I still have no idea why this would always happen. The failure to read and then the lying about having pressed the button. But as far as jobs go, this was pretty sweet. A little more busy than a parking lot security guard, which is what I came in here to suggest. I'm a backstage doorman at a Broadway theater. I sit around watching Netflix and Hulu and all that shit all day. If I'm feeling ambitious, I'll read a book or write some stand-up material. It's a pretty sweet gig and the perfect for the laziest of people. Damn, I wanted to work as an actor on Broadway, but the superior job has just been sitting there the whole time. Some people were just born for this world, while others struggle and never find a stronghold. Can't tell if you're joking or not, but there's honestly nothing that I want to do and it makes it difficult. Don't really have a drive and don't really have anything I'm crazy about doing that I can make money doing. I envy people that know what they want to do and work towards it. At least they have direction. I worked as a security guard for a trucking company on weekends. The rest of the company conveniently didn't work weekends, so I had the whole place to myself. I worked 12-hour days and walked around the small wing of the property every hour and documented anything that was out of the ordinary. Almost nothing was ever out of the ordinary. Other than that, I didn't do anything. It was actually really boring because the guardhouse was outside of the Wi-Fi area, so I blew through my phone data really fast. To cure the boredom and ease my phone bill, I bought a portable DVD player and watched every DVD I had. Books? Surprisingly, management wouldn't let us read books. They said it was because you could get lost in a book and not be aware of your surroundings. Oddly enough, they had no problem with browsing on our phones or watching movies. They probably didn't want you to study your way out of that job. I used to go to the factory where they make giant rotating machinery for power plant generators. It would take a week or more to machine these giant disks, and the machinist just sat there watching this giant computer-operated machine do all the work. If an error popped up, the machine would stop, sound an alarm on the computer, and the machinist would pick up the phone and call an engineer to come fix it. Also, they didn't do any other removal or setup. That was done by a team of engineers and transport folks. $30 an hour. Where is this? I need a new machinist job. Edit, I've already gone through training in school for machining and make $20 an hour making airplane and missile parts. Just wanted higher paying job. Thanks for the advice and most upvoted comment I've ever had. The person that sit on a chair in the museum, they just sit there in one of the most quiet places I visit. And when a person stands too close to one artwork, they just cough a little and tell you to step back. Though a friend in college once had this job and he said it was so boring, there was no way he could keep at it for very long. I had this job at a fairly popular museum. My duties included clicking a counter every time someone came in and telling them not to touch the art. I wanted to basically die after a while. How do you even interview for that? Why do you want this job? Oh, I'm very passionate about clicking and scolding people. Lifeguard at the Olympics. You need to be pretty unlazy in the first place to get that job though. That's so deep. A guy on the surveying crew has the job of watching a surveying GPS unit all day. He gets dropped off with the unit, sets it up, and sits there and makes sure it doesn't get stolen and that the blue light is still on. That's all he does every day, day after day. He thinks his job is the greatest thing ever. You can also work your ass off surveying though. I used to do it. Can confirm. The days of chopping hundreds of feet of line through thick woods and brush or hammering in a couple hundred construction hubs and stakes really wear you down. Find a remote data entry job and outsource it to someone who will do it for cheaper. Let them do your job and just collect the difference. A Verizon programmer outsourced his job and just Reddit it all day. Edit, not Verizon. Did anything happen to him after he was discovered? He got promoted to manager. A lot of IT related office jobs at big companies involve a lot of downtime for one reason or another, where you're just sitting around waiting for work to come in. Just be careful what you wish for. I did a 6-month work placement at a place doing QC on medical data entry. It was as riveting as it sounds, and due to poor management there were massive stretches of time, like more than a solid week, where there was nothing for us to do. We were literally begging for work because we were so effing bored. If someone had asked me to start hoovering the carpets, I would have jumped at the chance. Creative IT jobs like the video games and special effects industries are major exceptions. Can confirm, I work IT for a couple car dealerships and it was literally just me checking out Reddit waiting for work to come in. I maybe had an issue once or twice a week that took me no more than an hour to figure out in most cases. The only reason it's work now is because they decide to open up more dealerships that I have to manage and everything needs to be set up. There are a lot of things to do now. Sigh. It was good while it lasted. Lol. Toll booth worker. In middle school I had a classmate who did a 4-week internship at a company where they sent him to the gate man. We had some forms to fill out for our report in school and this guy just wrote the most awesome stories the gate man had to tell about his job. My favorite was, when I'm bored, and I'm damn bored often, I act entitled and punish those drivers who ring the doorbell angrily. I then let them wait for an extra 20 seconds before I let them in. Answering the classmate's question, what was the most critical situation at your job? The gateman said, I once went to the toilet. It was one of those boring Friday afternoons where no effing buddy comes in as folks are home early. When I came back, I found one of our customers with his whole effing entourage queuing up at the gate. 3 effing vehicles. I dropped my newspaper and hit the gate open button like it could save my life. And boy it did. They just drove past my booth. Lucky me, and that's the story when my bowel movement almost cost me my job. My job, I'm basically ignored by everyone and wasting all my day on Reddit. I'm starting to wonder how long it'll last. Where do you work and how much do you get paid? I'm working for a plumbing contractor as a project manager, but 95% of the stuff is managed on site so they don't need me. Most of the time, I have this huge 12x14 office with multiple monitors that nobody can see or want to know what I do. So I wait for the phone calls and place some orders here and there and Reddit all day. Salary is $65K per year. CAD. Sysadmin. I hate my life. I've automated 85% of my job. I'd be shocked if I work more than 4 hours on an average week. It sounds great, but F, it's boring sitting here surfing tomorrow's Reddit today. Is it true that a lot of sysadmin jobs are in danger because everything is going to be the cloud? Managing cloud services is just another line in the job description for sysadmins. There's less work involved due to no on-site hardware, but it's still something that someone with an IT background should be doing. The cloud is also not as cheap as everyone makes it out to be. It's very, very easy to spend way more over 5 years on cloud services versus what it costs to buy the hardware and run it in-house in that same time period. Copy editor. You can pretty much work out your own home and be a professional grammar Nazi. Pay is meh, but it's really not bad once you build up a client base, since you can literally sit on your ass for hours if your grasp on the language is pretty strong. Edit. I should probably clarify. I do this part-time after I get home from my main office job. I consider it lazy because I can sit in my own home office and dedicate what time I wish to it, and it requires no specialized equipment besides a laptop. I used to be a copy editor at a newspaper. Great gig. Worked 4 p.m. to midnight, so never had to set an alarm. Never had to take my work home or deal with emails or phone calls at home. Steady, predictable hours, except in the very rare event of an emergency. Almost no meetings, no need to network or schmooze with dealership or go to any company events. No complicated long-term projects, no need to work in teams or collaborate. Just sat there listening to music. Drinking coffee, reading interesting articles, and fixing stuff if I felt like it. Those were the days. Get an office job, figure out how to do it in a fraction of the time, coast for a couple years. When a coworker quits, tell your boss that you can add their responsibility to yours instead of hiring a new person for a 40% raise. Figure out how to do that in a fraction of the time. Get all your work done every day and also spend hours on Reddit. Bonus, literally nobody else knows how to do your job, so they'll think long and hard before downsizing you. It helps if you understand Excel or whatever your office uses more than everybody else in the company. Ah yes, the classic do no work and spend all day on the internet making 6 figures job that everyone already has. I have what Wadsworth is describing, but it took me a couple years to get to the coast stage. Now I'm bored and wish I had someone else's duties to take over, and unfortunately not anywhere near 6 figures. I worked at a pool the summer after my senior year of high school. I wasn't a lifeguard, I just had to have the person show me their Navy card to get into the pool, and I had to check the pH levels of the pool at the end of every day. Only had to text my boss, could be on my phone the whole day, chilled with my then girlfriend, and ate food. Didn't even have to clock out for lunch and got an extra half hour every day. The downside was working in the hot sun. You'd be under an umbrella, but the job could get boring. Edit. I should also add that most of my friends were Navy kids whose mothers or fathers were working, so I would be able to chill with them all day too because it was their neighborhood. All in all, pretty good gig if you're lazy. Edit 2. Also, one time me and my friends were there and there was a live skunk in the pool filter. He was trying to swim, so we took a pool net and gently pushed him into it and let him down in the grass outside. He was just laying on his back, panting frantically. Then he jumps up and runs into the woods. I have it on film on my old iPhone. Edit 3. Wow, 1.6k more people like this job than I thought. Guys, you really don't want to work at a pool, LMAO. It ain't a game tester. People think it's a fun and easy job, but tracking down the precise instant a bug happens under what conditions is a painstaking, tedious, and time-consuming task. Exactly, my older brother always said, I wish I was a video game tester. I'm like, yeah. But you don't get to play the games like you're sitting in your undies in your bedroom. You gotta do a list of tasks and try to find bugs. A lot of beta testers I've seen online say it sucks. Can't confirm. I've done QA for software and it's gruesomely boring. What takes a user normally around 5 minutes to do, a standard task can turn into literally a full week of only testing after following test plans and changes from developers. Then once your tests confirm that everything is working properly, you need to go do exploratory testing, meaning you have to purposely break the application, and it can be the stupidest possible thing that a user will likely never do. But then you realize people are dumb and they will still find ways to break the app. Game testing is exactly the same. Mass amounts of people absolutely will find a way to break it that the devs and testers didn't even think was possible or worth it to test. Writing, producing the final season of Game of Thrones. Well, I would say something so controversial yet so brave. Anyone else scrolling through the comments looking for job opportunities? Just seeing where I should go after I burn out being a line cook. Man, I'll tell you, some of these jobs seem pretty easy. Do you guys have any jobs that are perfect for lazy people? Share them in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family and anybody you know. Bye.